I know that without school, I wouldn't have come this far in life. But at the same time, I know I could have gone farther in life if I didn't go to school. The truth is the truth. School's not for everyone. For all the reasons that are out there, such as school kills creativity, that school may be too quantitative for some and they just cannot keep up. School may just teach a whole bunch of facts that you will never use in life. The fact of the matter is, school needs to make you become better at what you're already good at, not make you sort of proficient in certain areas. And don't get me started about the kids and the environment, such as high school and college, or even middle school. I was fortunate enough to become proficient at these things, and I was able to graduate high school in only 3 years. And the way I did this was that I worked around the system. Like nowadays, I feel that students let the system beat them instead of the other way around. Like, don't become the system's little bitch. You gotta take control of your life and not follow what's the status quo and take the recommended classes or classes that you think you might do well. It's all about you. Like, you know what's best for you, and you must implement that in your education. I really hate and get annoyed when students, especially here in America, complain about not wanting to go to school or not wanting to get an education because it has no benefit to them. The truth is, you need to stop being a little bitch. Because I don't know if you had a taste of the real world, but the real world is depressing as And that's not even talking about children and adolescents in other countries who don't even have access to education. And you're here just complaining about, oh, I don't want to do 10 math problems for my algebra class that I'm gonna have to do once in my life and I'm gonna get it over with. Just do what you need to do and move on with your life. Because compared to the real world, college, high school, middle school is the easiest thing you'll ever do in your life. The real world is hard and depressing as hell. You have to think about money. You're gonna think about, where your next meal is gonna come from. Where are you gonna live? Dealing with people who don't even have an education and, having to argue with them about certain things. Because guess what? They didn't want to get an education. Whereas in school and college, high school, middle school, it's make-believe. It's a make-believe world that you're living in, and it's super easy. All you have to do is just do what your professor or teacher tells you to do. And that's it. In the real world, you don't have anyone to tell you what to do. So that makes life like 100 times harder. But it just really bugs me when teachers have to push students and make them do, what they're required to do. Instead of that student, pushing themselves on and not having the motivation to keep going. If you don't believe me about the real world becoming harder and harder as you grow older and getting out of school, don't take it from me. I got something for you. Here I have my old iPod that I used to have, and just I got in trouble with the law a few years ago, and this is what happened when I was in the backseat of a cop car. The officer didn't know I had my iPod on me. I had it somewhere hidden, just like shoved up my, It's funny because I was in the backseat of the cop car and I wanted to have a realization conversation with this cop. So I turned on my audio recording, the voice memos, and I started recording. Here, I'm gonna put this up for you guys. And just listen to what the cop has to say and put yourself in my perspective, in the backseat of a cop car, not thinking about where you're gonna go in life. Because that's where I was. I was a mess. That led me to do stupid things, and that led me to the backseat of the car. So here it is. Just go to voice memos.
I've always wanted to talk to a cop about life.
Yeah, so that's I'll skip to the actual part. Man, this is like some secret undercover recording a cop while having a conversation about life.
So life is always about fixing. You know, and the world, man, I can tell you this. If I was 16, this world is nothing nice.
Yeah.
The world is nothing nice. You know, back when I was coming up in the 70s, yeah, it was a little different. But now, it's worse. You know, enjoy your youth, man. You know, while you still can. You know, I know you want to rush and get out here. But trust me, man. There's nothing out here, dude.
10-3. 1231 call.
That conversation changes my life. Like the officer said, the world is nothing nice. And I knew that at a young age, but living it was something different. And this was at the time where I decided I wanted to graduate early, and you know, I had second thoughts like, do I really want to go out into the real world as soon as possible, or stay in this make-believe world we call school and, you know, deal with that? All I gotta say to those of you who aren't so keen on going to school, stop being a little bitch and stop complaining about it. Make the best out of it and do what you want to do. I knew I wanted to graduate early because I couldn't stand one more year in the public school education. So I knew I had to get out, and I did. So I made the best out of my situation. I graduated early, I applied for a lot of colleges and universities, and I continued my education. So if you're saying, oh, I can't change it, yes you can. You've got to find the way. You got to work around the system like I did and do what you want to do. If you're an art person, start taking more art classes. If you're a science geek, take the most advanced classes about biology or physics. And if you're all about math, you know, take the next math course that you could take. It's never settle for less, guys. If you can't deal with high school or middle school or even college, just find a way to work around it. Or you could do what I did and graduate early, you know. Because if you're planning to go to a higher education after high school, such as a college or university, it's gonna get more demanding. And for those of you who've wondered, like, oh, where did you get accepted to graduating in 3 years? Well, I'll tell you. Maybe this is a little hint. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. A kid who was in the backseat of a cop car a year before he graduated got accepted to UC Berkeley in Sunnyside, California. Well, it's North California, which is not that sunny, but you get the idea. And once the acceptance letter started coming in, I knew that all the hard work and dedication I put into my studies paid off. And you know, some people still don't believe me that, oh, how could a Mexican from a low-income family get into, you know, such a prestigious college? Well, here's proof. Yeah, there you go. That's real. You know, I was so excited I want to go visit the campus, and I bought a whole bunch of merch. The merch is good, and I really thought I was gonna go there, but I didn't. So I visited many campuses, and I was trying to figure out if I even wanted to go to a university or college, and Berkeley wasn't for me. Like I said, I applied to more than 12 universities, and just some of the ones that you might have heard of that I got accepted to include UCLA, UCI, UC Berkeley, UC Santa Barbara. Those are the UCs. And some private schools I got accepted to included Pepperdine University, University of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania? Penn. UPenn. There we go. Oh, sorry about that. University of Chicago. So these are very prestigious universities, and like I said, I didn't want to settle for anything less, so I wanted the best environment and best education that I could possibly get. If I was gonna do it, might as well do it right. And do it the way I wanted to do it. And go somewhere I really wanted to go. But Berkeley wasn't for me. And I'm not putting Berkeley down or anything. It's just, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel my mojo in that school. But there was this other university that I really fell in love with. So like I said, you have to go where the heart takes you and where you truly want to go. So enough about Berkeley. And I'm not trying to brag by saying that I got accepted to all these colleges. I'm trying to let you guys know that it's possible. I'm trying to inspire you guys and trying to let you guys know that whatever situation you're in, it's possible to come out and go somewhere you didn't even dream was possible. I didn't even think I would graduate high school. Like, I was gonna drop out. But I got accepted to all these great schools, and that really put life in a different perspective, and it pushed me further to go on in life. And let's talk about something you can't forget to mention when talking about school. Student debt. The current student debt that America has is $1.5 trillion. That's a lot of chicken nuggets. I was given the best advice for where to go to get a higher education and how to pay, and that was never pay more money for your education than you'll make in your first year out of that college or university. This drastically reduces the amount of student debt you will receive, because if you plan ahead and pay for all your student loans right in your first year out of a college or university, going into the real world, everything is going to be a little bit easier. So going back to why I think I could have gone farther in life if I didn't go to school at all, it all comes down to time. I feel that many times my time was not wasted but concentrated on other academia, whereas I could have been spending more time on the dreams and aspirations I had that I really had a passion for working on. You know, such as this, I never had time to really create this realizationconversationz idea, and yeah, but with all the focus I needed to have in school in order to graduate and, you know, pass all my classes, that required a lot of time and energy. And so that leads to personal thoughts and ideas that I have that could drastically improve school for everyone. This can go for any private institution or even public schools, which I feel that are in the most need of, you know, improvement. And first of all, it needs to be a small class size. Like 20 to 25 students is the limit of what a class size should be. A teacher needs to be as involved in their students as the students are involved in the class. And that can always be reached with a small class size, so that the teacher personally knows every single student and his or her strengths and weaknesses, so that, like I said, the teacher can make them better at what they're already at. Passionate teachers. Teaching is one of the hardest jobs out there. With all said that teachers don't get paid enough, that is true. They are training the citizens and leaders of the future. So why are they so underappreciated? I used to tutor children, and teaching little can't say that. Teaching little kids is one of the hardest and annoying things to do, because they're just all over the place. And I can't imagine not getting paid enough to do that job and the frustration that might come out of it. So if your teacher may seem a little, you know, angst and not good up there upstairs, just know that they're going through some stuff. They're human beings as well, and you gotta treat them as such. I would completely get rid of all the standardized testing crap jack hole stuff, because students are gonna work around that system. I'll be the first one to say I worked around the system just to try to ace a test instead of actually learning the material. We put so much emphasis on tests that we forget the whole reason why we're taking it, and that's to learn. So I would change the system so that students actually know what's being taught in classrooms. And I feel like one of the best ways to really know that you understand something is to teach it. Because if you're trying to teach something, you find a way to understand it first yourself. And everyone has a different way of learning everything. And schools don't really understand that. And lastly, like I've been saying, school needs to cater to children's skills. So many talented children are neglected. They're put in a math class when they should be in an arts class. Albert Einstein said this fascinating quote, and it goes something like this: if you judge a fish by its capability of trying to climb a tree, it's gonna think its whole life that it's stupid. Like, a fish wasn't meant to climb a tree, it was meant to swim. And I've seen that everywhere in every stage of school that I've gone through, where students are beaten down for what they can't do, such as math, science, and not even appreciated for what they can do. But then at the end of the day, if you're going into a profession that requires much studying, such as becoming a doctor, a lawyer, sports medicine, you need to go to school. Because I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to have a doctor inside me. A doctor inside me. I wouldn't want to have a doctor that doesn't know anything about anything be performing surgery on me. But then again, I don't need an actor or a comedian to know the Pythagorean theorem. Whew, that's a lot about school. Sorry if I made you feel like you're in class. So the realization question today is, what are you going to school for? Really think about this one, guys. Don't give me that bullshit answer of, oh, my mom wakes me up so I gotta go to school. At whatever level you're at while watching this, if you're in elementary school, middle school, high school, at a college or university, if you're at medical school, if you're trying to get your master's, if you're trying to get your PhD, for God's sake, why are you watching this? Whatever level you're at, really try to answer that question. Why are you going to school? I really look at the road that goes ahead, like, what is it all for? What are you trying to do it for? Not just for the temporary fix that you might get. Well, I think that's it for today. I gotta go to class. You guys like my backpack? It's very manly, I know. Go learn something about yourself and about the world around you so that we can make this world a better place.